NNPC knew that they cannot. They knew that they can't carry on with the corruption that was going on in NNPC. In a civilized society, those people should be jailed.
With Mr. Mele Kyari in this instance, and now centering on him, the truth is that the three things they've listed are not untrue. The first, with regards to subsidy scam, even the fact that we didn't even think along those lines when we're talking about subsidy scam, that there's a leader in that regard of the NNPC, or why has it not been questioned, is a big issue. Is subsidy ever going to be removed? Because we are still paying subsidy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, it's not going to be removed anytime soon.
It's not going to be removed anytime soon. It's unfair, really, it's unfair. Something's got to give. The suspension of Mele Kyari can be one of them.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Think Tank TV. Now before I start this video, let me first of all preempt you that this video is going to be a little long, but trust me, it's going to be very educative, insightful and informative, because it's going to be exposing some of the deep corruption that is embedded in the downstream sector of the oil and gas in Nigeria. Yes, the Cnpp, which is the coalition of the Nigerian political parties in Nigeria, has called for the immediate suspension of Mele Kyari, the Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corperation. And the reasons are simple. Recall that there have been several expositions that have exposed the shenanigans of the NNPC and the deep corruption, ranging from the subsidy scandal, the controversies surrounding the Dangote Refinery, the fact that some substandard product was released to the Nigerian market that knocked some people's engine, and the fuel scarcity that has been rocking the nation of Nigeria back to back. Just a few days ago, Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, exposed the video where he revealed some of the experiences he had as president of Nigeria when he asked the Shell Petroleum Development Company to come and run the refinery in Nigeria. Yes, Obasanjo exposed what Shell told him at the time when he was the president of Nigeria, and how that the Nigeria National Petroleum Corperation refineries had gone beyond repair, despite the lump monies that was collected by the leadership of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corperation to revamp this refinery. Now, if this doesn't mean anything to you, recall that Dangote also a few days ago came out and exposed the fact that the Malta refinery that was allegedly owned by President Tinubu is one of the major reasons why they have been frustrating him kickstarting the Dangote Refinery. I'm going to be showing you a video that has unraveled the shenanigans in NNPC that was put out on Analyse, where Rufai Useni, Ojeh Okpes and Ayo has unraveled the nitty-gritty surrounding the corruption in NNPC. But before I do that, I'd like you to take a look at the words of Olusegun Obasanjo, where he exposed his relationship with Shell and what Shell told him at the time he asked them to come and run the refinery in Nigeria. Please do it to intentionally hit the like button so that YouTube can recommend this video for more people to get to see and see the shenanigans in the downstream sector of the oil and gas in Nigeria. Take a look.
I went and called Shell. I said, Shell, look, come and help us. Run the refinery. Take part. You can take 10%, you can take 20%, but come on. They say no. I said, okay, all right. If you don't want to take equity, come and run it for me. They say no. So they left. I then called their head one-on-one. Sit down with me. Why do you come down? They gave me 5 reasons. One, they said, our refineries are small. I think Port Harcourt is 60,000 barrels a day. I know, yeah, and I think that's Port Harcourt. Wola Tinubu is maybe 100. I think Woes is the largest, I think, maybe 120. And they said to me then that, look, refinery is about 250,000 barrels a day. So our refineries are too small. 2, they said, look, even we run our refineries as a service, but we make sure that we do not run it at a loss. But we make substantial part of our profit in the upstream. So, the refinery, if you run it well, you will break even and make a small profit. But if you don't run it well, you will run it at a loss. 3, they say our refinery, the way we have managed it, the way we have serviced it, is not the way that refinery should be serviced. So they don't want to get involved in that. 4, they said to me, the corruption along the refinery, they did not want to get involved. When they told me all that, I was completely numb. And then some Nigerian got together. They paid 750 million. I said, God has sent this one. My successor said, he's done it. I ran to him. And I said, look, you know this not right. He said, well, NNPC said they can do it. I said, NNPC cannot do it. NNPC, I think you are investigating $1.5 billion that NNPC has spent on refineries since then, and the refineries will not work. But I told my successor that the refineries, from what I have heard and know, will not work. And when you want to sell it, you will not get anybody to buy it for $200 million as scrap. And that is the situation behind. So why do we do this type of thing to ourselves? NNPC knew that they cannot, but they knew that they can eat and carry on with the corruption that was going on in NNPC. And when people were there they put pressure. In a civilized society, those people should be jailed. Why do we do this to ourselves?
You've seen it for yourself. Now let's jump right into Arise News, where Ojeh Okpes and Rufai Useni has unraveled some of the shenanigans in NNPC and what they think is the solution. Do well to sit back, because I'll be coming back to give you my own thoughts about these whole issues.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has also been advised by the Conference of Nigeria Political Parties to sack the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Petroleum Company, mele, kyari, over allegations of subsidy scams, importation of substandard petroleum products, and the mismanagement of the Port Harcourt Refinery. Well, in a statement, as you see up there, signed by the Deputy National Publicity Secretary, the Cnpp said it is time to hold NNPC Limited accountable by immediately suspending mele, kyari, and independently probing the subsidy scam and other allegations in the Nigeria's upstream and downstream oil sectors to save the economy and minimize hunger. I mean, this is a coalition of political parties, so it's not like it's one particular party calling for the, removal of suspension. At least that's what they are calling, so that the investigation can continue. And I think they are speaking the minds of a lot of Nigerians that are calling for his suspension at this time. Ayo. Well, they're well within their rights. But the first question I'd like to ask is, how many people have been suspended or have lost their jobs in Nigeria for lack of performance? I mean in government. If it's a private sector organization, immediately you go through the process. There's a procedure for KPI, measuring how well you performed. And if you're consistently underperforming or not performing, then you will have to face disciplinary action. But unfortunately in Nigeria, sometimes the reward for bad work is more work. I'm not saying that's the case with regards to mele, kyari, but we see instances like that where there ought to be a suspension or heads rolling or something happening, or even out of dignity a stepping down because you haven't been able to effectively discharge your duties. But what we consistently see is impunity, therefore leading to more inefficiencies because people are not taking account or people are not held to account. With Mr. Mele Kyari in this instance, now centering on him, the truth is that the three things they've listed are not untrue. The first, with regards to subsidy scam, even the fact that we didn't even think along those lines when we were talking about subsidy scam, that there's a leader in that regard of the NNPC, or why has it not been questioned, is a big issue. The second, around substandard products. We remember when cars were knocking in Nigeria at some point. Who took the, who was held accountable for it? Nobody. The third, around the Dangote Refinery, or the fact that they've not been able to sort things that provide adequate crude, fuel scarcity, prevalent in Nigeria, no questions being asked. There's currently an investigation being carried out by the Senate. Let's maybe wait for that investigation and see what the outcome would be. But the only challenge is that it's a reign of impunity, and that's why we have agencies and departments underperforming without any recourse at all to any kind of punitive measure for it. Should Mr. Mele Kyari be suspended? Should he be sacked? It would be the outcome of an investigation, so he gets fair hearing. If he's able to demonstrate that he's able to discharge his duties, then why not? Let him continue. But if he's not able to defend it, then there ought to be some form of punitive measure.
I mean, that just hit the nail on the head, but you know, my beautiful favorite Nigeria wife, I mean, you have been in our country for, you know, quite some time now. I mean, you were here when the subsidy was announced, removal of subsidy. It went from what, 167 naira for the pump price to 700 naira. I mean, you know, you cannot blame Nigerians for feeling aggravated, because this would have been, you know, solved a long time ago if we had our refineries working, if we had our, you know, situation sorted. Why should we continue to go through these issues in Nigeria, our favorite Nigeria wife?
and you know what, just for historical context, I was also here during Occupy Nigeria. I was not on a visit, but I was here while all of that was happening. So, you know, when you listen to former President Obasanjo and his experience with NNPC, when you listen to what Tony Elumelu shared about his experience, and then you look at what's happening now, there's obviously a common denominator there. There's a systemic challenge. It's not about an individual. So yes, as much as we have to hold people to account, this is bigger than a Mele Kyari, because if he is to be removed, another figure is going to come in just to oversee the same institutional failure that has continued for decades and decades. It's now time for us to go into the organization. We thought by it becoming, by being privatized, that, you know, there would be some form of a cleanup and a mop-up. But we're struggling to see that. We want to open up the financials. Let's see the books. What's happening there? Let's find out, you know, there needs to be some sort of forensic audit, a genuine independent one, bring in external people from all corners of the world to unravel and expose what the real challenge is, because it doesn't make sense.
So many points Olusegun Obasanjo had made, and you know, one of the things I took out was the fact that he said the refineries cannot function. They will not function. I mean, so what are we talking about here? We're hearing an announcement end of August, or this August NNPC says they're going to, you know, revamp the, it's going to start working.
From December.
And the main question, again, I think you guys talked about it during the business segment, is subsidy ever going to be removed? Because, you know, we're still paying subsidy.
Yeah.
Definitely still
No, it's not
paying
going to be removed
subsidy.
anytime soon.
I mean, it's not going to be removed anytime soon. It's unfair, really, it's unfair. Something's got to give. I mean, the suspension of Mele Kyari can be one of them.
You've seen it for yourself. Now, the truth is that the deep corruption in the NNPC is beyond Mele Kyari. It's a systemic issue. You can take a clue from the deep corruption we have in the likes of NDDC, Nigerian Airways, Air Peace, and other ministries, departments, and agencies. That goes ahead to tell you that the problem is not just about the leadership. The problem is a Nigerian issue. We must learn to do well to prioritize the advancement of our nation beyond our own personal advancement, because like a wise man once said, that every nation deserves the leaders that they get. Because in the midst of all this corruption, you'll find out there are still people who give these corrupt leaders accolades. And like many have recommended, that the solution to this whole issue is to do a forensic audit in most of these ministries, departments, and agencies, and ensure that people who are found to be culprits must be brought to book, because that is going to be serving as a deterrent to those who may be thinking of continuing in this corruption menace. Please do also drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let's get to know what you think about the corruption in NNPC and the downstream sector of the oil and gas in Nigeria, and we shall continually be here to serve. Many thanks indeed to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We truly do not take it lightly. My name again is Moses, and this is Think Tank. See you on our next video. Bye for now.